Bill O'Reilly here. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Coming up next, the news with Mike Slater.
Thank you, Bill. It is Monday, March 13th, 2023. You're listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening today in America. The Fed says no to another bank bailout. Mike Pence turns on Donald Trump. Anthony Fauci doubles down on the natural origins of COVID. And CNN finds a term that every good parent, especially in the South, teaches their kids to say, very problematic. Also coming up, the message of the day. But first, the Treasury Department refusing to bail out Silicone Valley Bank. We'll talk more about this in the message of the day. The institution bank, better known as SVB, is the nation's 16th largest lender, and it is now the second biggest bank failure in American history after the collapse of Washington Mutual 15 years ago. The bank primarily served big tech employees and Silicon Valley investors and startups. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen said, "We are not going to do bailouts again." But then the government came back and said that we will make everyone whole. They're just not going to bail out the bank, but they're going to bail out the people. Lots of questions. We'll talk more about that coming up next. Mike Pence turning on his former boss, the ex-vice president, directly blaming Donald Trump for the January 6th riot at the Capitol. Said Pence, President Trump was wrong. I had no right to overturn the election, and his reckless words endangered my family and everyone at the Capitol that day. And I know that history will hold Donald Trump accountable. Tony Fauci doubling down on his insistence that the COVID pandemic began in the wild, not at the Wuhan Institute of Virology. Fauci was talking with CNN when he insisted that if proven true, the lab leak theory can still be considered a natural occurrence. He says, quote, a lab leak could mean that someone was out in the wild, maybe looking at bats, got infected, went into a lab, was being studied in a lab, then came out of the lab. That's still a natural occurrence. Oh, thanks, Tony. In COVID news, there's a city in China, 13 million people. They have a new pandemic plan that says they'll go back to lockdowns even if there's a severe case of the flu. This city in China had a complete total lockdown, like weld the door shut lockdown for over a month during COVID. Now, come on, your parents taught you to use this word, didn't they? Well, now it's very problematic. CNN published a report questioning the use of the term ma'am for women. The author claims that many women are outraged by the word because it traditionally refers to older females. It's also very transphobic. Women, are you offended when someone calls you ma'am? Coming up next, the latest with Silicone Valley Bank and what it means for you.
The chairman of the Fed is promising more pain ahead. Last year, stocks dropped 20%, and this year could be worse. You are right to be worried. So please call the only precious metal dealer I trust, American Hartford Gold. They'll show you how to protect your savings and retirement accounts by diversifying your portfolio with physical gold and silver. Since I have been a client and spokesperson, the price of gold has appreciated more than 35%. So please call today and they'll have physical gold and silver delivered right to your door or put inside your IRA or 401k. Tell them Bill O'Reilly sent you, and they will give you up to $5,000 of free silver on your first order. Please call 877-444-GOLD, 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD GOLD to 65532. Again, 877-444-GOLD, or text GOLD to 65532.
Mike Slater filling in for Bill O'Reilly. Now it's time for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. The 2008 financial crisis was so bad that in a normal year, maybe 2 banks will fail. Experts predicted early on in 2008 that maybe 300 banks would fail. By the end of the crash, 465 banks failed. Well, on Friday, Silicone Valley Bank is the second biggest bank ever to fail. The question is, will more dominoes fall? Maybe not. Silicone Valley Bank catered mostly to Silicon Valley startups, which are by their nature more risky. So maybe this was just bad management. And maybe it's not this sign of a massive system failure to come. Or maybe they're not that unique. Maybe they are just the first to fall. It's impossible to tell yet. 2 points I want to share. First, the experts missed it bad. Jim Cramer on CNBC, He said on February 8th, just a month ago, he said SVB Financial is among my, quote, biggest winners of 2023. Now you say, okay, well, that's just one guy. It's Jim Cramer. He's been epically wrong many times before. Okay. Forbes magazine on Monday named Silicon Valley Bank on its annual rankings of America's best banks for the 5th year in a row. That was last Monday, a week ago. And by the end of the week, they were the second largest bank failure in history. We need to stop listening to the experts. How many times do you need to be wrong? Or how wrong do you need to be before you're just not even considered an expert anymore? Point 2, ESG. Are you familiar with ESG? It stands for Environmental, Social, and Governance. To explain this very quickly, back in the day, a company or a bank would make decisions based on what was best for the shareholders of the company. Well, then the United Nations and the World Economic Forum and this progressive idea came in that there are other things that companies should be concerned about. And they came up with this new metric. The E stands for environmental. So is this company making good decisions to fight global warming? S is social. Is this company investing enough money in telling stories of trans, queer women of color? And governance is the G. Does this company have enough disabled LGBTQ whatever on their board of directors? And companies are rated based on these progressive factors at the expense of what's best for the company and shareholders. Easy example, we know Disney went woke and they had a gay character in their movies. Not good for business, not good for shareholders, but great for their ESG score. Silicon Valley Bank was all in on ESG. You've heard the expression, go woke, go broke. Well, January 10th of last year, Silicon Valley Bank commits $5 billion to sustainable finance and carbon neutral operations to support a healthier planet. Oh, how green of them. Good for business. Ready for some word salad? Our ability to make a meaningful difference for people and the planet and to address the systemic risk that climate change presents is magnified by the outsized impact our innovative clients make. That's a lot of mumbo jumbo. They said they want to advance solutions that create a more just and sustainable world. Uh-oh, run. Just and sustainable. Is that a good use of money? So maybe we could stop a full-on collapse and keep this just a single domino if other banks will focus on, banking and not virtue signaling. It's easy to laugh at Disney and say, go woke, go broke. Your movie didn't make a lot of money. Now it's go woke and, wait a second, where did all my money go? Something you might not know. Next.
There's a growing sense of uncertainty in America these days. We all know it. Food prices are up, grocery stores fill with low-quality foods. Wouldn't it be nice to grow your own healthy food? Arc Seed Kits is a family-owned business providing heirloom seeds for more than 15 years. Heirloom seeds can be harvested and regrown year after year, giving you and your family the stability and security you deserve. Arc Seeds All-in-One Seed Kit has more than 65 varieties and over 50,000 seeds to help you grow nutrient and calorie-dense vegetables and fruits. You'll also get an Arc Seed Guide with everything you'll need to grow and harvest the varieties in the kit. For a limited time, Arc is offering a discount of $300 with the Prepper Kit Special. This includes 5 all-in-one kits for the price of 4. Please go to arcseedskits.com today. Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. American history is filled with heroes and villains, as we all know, but few stories capture the imagination more than tales of the Wild West. Here are the most famous figures of the frontier and their eventual fates. Billy the Kid, born Henry McCarty. The teenage outlaw was best known for his string of murders and robberies throughout the Western Territories. The Kid was shot and killed by police in New Mexico at the age of 21. He was responsible for 21 murders, one for each year of his short life. Next, Jesse James. The 14-year-old joined a gang of Confederate guerrillas after the Civil War and continued his reign of terror for decades. Jesse James was killed by his friend and gang member Robert Ford at the age of 34. Wild Bill Hickok. Bill left home at age 17, worked as a canal boat pilot in Illinois before heading west in 1856. He worked as a sheriff in Kansas, then the Western Territories. Hickok was shot and killed while playing poker in a saloon in Deadwood, South Dakota. The hand of cards he held at the time he was shot is now known as Dead Man's Hand. 2 pair, black aces and eights. Finally, Wyatt Earp. Earp and his crew became national heroes following their shootout at the OK Corral in Arizona. The local sheriff of Cochise County, who actually saw the shootout, charged the Earps and Doc Holliday with murder. 1 month later, a Tombstone judge found the men not guilty, ruling that they were, quote, fully justified in committing these homicides. And here's something else you might not know. The era known as the Wild West ended peacefully through technology. By 1910, a combination of the telegraph, telephone, and railroad joined the dangerous frontier with the rest of the United States. And by the way, Wyatt Earp lived to be a very old man, and he went to Los Angeles. No movie contract, however. Back after this.
This is a special alert to all Americans who own a vehicle with less than 200,000 miles with an auto warranty about to expire or with no warranty coverage at all. Due to a decline in the economy, CarShield is announcing a low-cost month-to-month vehicle protection plan that is now available to the public to save any driver out-of-pocket expenses on future auto repairs. Call now to find out how you can pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. Yes, you heard that correctly. Pay almost nothing for covered auto repairs. An open phone line has been established for all drivers to call for a free quick quote. Call 800-925-7584 now. Drivers who are covered will not have to pay for covered repairs again. This protection plan is at an all-time low. Additionally, drivers who activate this vehicle protection today will also receive free roadside assistance, free towing, and car rental options at no additional cost. Call us for your free quick quote today. 800-925-7584. That's 800-925-7584. What do you have to lose? Call 800-925-7584. Again, 800-925-7584.
Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.